Okay. Welcome to the Ancient Way.
What's
I'm
your name?
James. Whoa.
Did you forget again?
Yeah.
Did you really?
I drew a little blank. It's been happening a little bit.
James.
I know.
I'm Marlia.
That was a... Yeah.
What an interesting time we're in.
I know it.
You gonna fill the listeners in on what's been happening with you, or you want to keep that?
Yeah, I don't care. Yeah, I'll fill them in on it. And I don't know if that's what it is or not. Was it, I guess it was a week or two ago? First off, I've been very busy. Probably overwhelmed from everything. It's just been like really nonstop.
Probably.
Yeah, I've been overwhelmed. It's really been nonstop for probably some months now. Been building, which is part of a word that I got. So I've been forgetting things. I get kind of forgetful, and I had a PlayStation 5 controller and I put it in the fridge one day. It just seemed like in the moment, like I was the right thing to do. I don't even know why. So that happened. And then last week, I ran a booth for some days in a row for my other job, site.org. And after that, Kelsey and I went to Mario's to eat dinner. And we paid for everything. It's just funny, but it's not. We got a to-go box. And I went to pay for the food. And what I did was I got my debit card and I put it inside the to-go box. And Kelsey said, well, what are you doing? She said something like, what are you doing? Like, okay, you need to go home and go to sleep and get some rest. Anyways. But I was doing this thing, and I've been over to pick up a table or something, I guess a week ago. And this stuff came out of my nose, this like fluid. But it wasn't like a normal runny nose. It was like this unstoppable weird thing. It was totally different.
Mm-hmm.
I'd never Google things, but this one I was like, this is different. And I Googled it. Kind of was similar to like a deep nosebleed or something, but it wasn't blood. Anyways, This is really gross and graphic.
You should put explicit on the...
This is an explicit episode. Can be. Some people are fascinated with this stuff. But I Googled it, and what it looks like it might be is like cerebral brain fluid.
Uh-huh.
Maybe there's a hole in my brain sac. Is that what it's called?
Spinal fluid leak?
Yeah, spinal fluid leak. Cerebral spinal fluid leak. That's it. Which might explain some of the forgetfulness.
Yeah.
Forgot my name, 5 minutes ago.
Forgot the debit card.
Forgot to say my name, put a debit card in the to-go box. Or it could be just the overwhelming stuff. Maybe
stress triggering it.
Could be.
Well, either way, I'm going to say this. If anybody wants to stop and pray for James right now.
Oh, yeah.
I say y'all let it fly.
Prayers are good, yeah.
Don't pray witchcraft.
Yeah, don't do that. And I'm fine. Like, I'm not, I Googled it. It was like, oh, brain leak. I don't really get concerned.
You're hysterical to me.
Yeah.
Like, the level of I don't cares that you carry,
yeah,
especially when it comes to health-related things.
Yeah.
It's just epic to me.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, I don't know. My brain's coming out of my forehead, but don't worry about it. I'll be all right.
Yeah. It will. It'll be okay.
Yeah,
So anyways, that's why I forgot to say this is James at the beginning of possibly that's why.
Yeah, but I'm not kidding. If anybody really wants to pray for him, I know he'd take it.
Yeah, always.
I'm also going to be this person. If anybody feels inspired by something that the Lord shares with them and wants to hit James up, do that too.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Back at you.
Man, we have been, I would say James and I, this has been the coolest season for us. I feel like I just want to talk to the listeners just a little bit.
Yeah. And then I want to chime in on this too with that word I had.
This has been the coolest season for us individually, in our own separate lives, but also kind of cool, like how things have kind of come together, like the guests that we have lined up coming up. And it's just been such a interesting and vibrant, hard, but also like a breakthrough season. Like,
yeah,
I have had, in the last 3 weeks, the acceleration, what feels like, and the connections that I've had. And I mean, it's just been bizarre. Things have been coming out of the woodwork that's like, whoa, I feel like I'm being catapulted more into really who I am. It's like, I feel like I'm coming alive in such different ways.
Well, and it's like the snapping point of this long burning things that
which
have
was
been
the year of
going on.
2023.
Right. Yeah.
Ironically, it's coming to a close.
There's like movement.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's the word I got.
Really?
That I pulled from other people. Kat said this word in our episode, and then I went to this other event and somebody else said it. And when they both said it, it hit me of like, oh, like let's take note of that word. There's some meaning to it. Kat said in the episode, we were talking about classical music, and she talked about the crescendo, is what she said, crescendo. And I was like, oh, I know that word. Anyways, this other event, completely unrelated to music, this person said something, crescendo. And I was like, yeah, there's something to that word. And I went and looked it up, and it is, especially in like classical music, you've got to listen to the whole song to fully appreciate and be immersed in it all the way up to the crescendo, which the crescendo is the loudest, highest point of a song.
Yeah.
When everything gets the loudest. But if you sit through the whole song, you get to feel it.
You feel the emotions of it.
The emotions of it, and you're ingrained into that whole thing. And then the crescendo, and then it's like a breakthrough. There's like a snap, after that. And so I took that as like, that is what this season is the crescendo.
Oh, that's
it
so
really
good.
is. As loud and hard and difficult and, crazy as it is something to be appreciated. And it's something that I think we've sat through and, been in it.
Bro.
Crescendo, yeah.
Wow.
Loudest point in a musical composition.
There really is something to sitting in the tension of something, whether that is like sitting in the silence and like, see what is the Lord cultivating within me? What is actually being built around me? What is being added to me? What's being taken away from me?
Yeah.
How are things shifting? It's so beautiful, man.
Yeah.
Like I'm seeing these bizarre, I never would have thought of pieces of the puzzle start coming together in the coolest ways.
Yep.
Just different partnerships or different opportunities being presented before people. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just what's happening in our world, but my Atlanta.
Yeah. Well, it's like you said earlier, before we hit record, it's a training ground. This is some sort of training ground. And it's like Daniel's messages. I only heard the first 5 minutes. I haven't listened to it all the way through. But, what he said was like the land, the inheritance. Like if we were to just have all this land, we couldn't maintain it right now.
Yeah.
You got to build and be trained in it to where you're equipped to handle it.
Yeah. That that was actually something I saw on Sunday. I had a vision, and this was even before Daniel's message or anything like that, but it felt significant, so I'm going to share it here. I've had some really cool encounters lately, but I feel like I've had this massive shift. Like encounters are all about, like, I love experiences, but I don't like experiences for the sake of experiences anymore. Yep. I love what's being added to me about his nature and his person and the connection that I have in his person. But Sunday, the presence of the Lord was so strong. I felt like he was physically next to me. Yeah. And in this vision, this white sheet was stretched out like a portico, but it was like a covering with this white sheet. And I was sitting next to him, and he was showing me this land. Yeah. And he said, all of this is yours. And it was a mass amount of land, and it was beautiful, and it was green, and it was what looked like epic, thousands of acres, just open pasture. And I said, how do I get there?
Yeah.
And he said, walk this way. And he showed me this path that was out in front of me. It was like clear as day. But I looked and I was like, yo, that's the Grand Canyon.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, yes, each step that you take, you can cross upon this by faith.
Yeah.
And it was this, I realized like every step that I took out, the step was in front of me.
Yeah.
It was actually as if the Grand Canyon had glass on top of it.
Mm.
And I knew that was like the glass, the kingdom, because the kingdom of heaven, the floor is of glass. And I was like, oh, this is the way that we walk. Yeah. And I'm actually going to walk the way of heaven into this. And he was leading me into it. And so then the whole message of Daniel was about walking the path. Yeah. Really.
The ancient path, yeah.
The ancient path with the Lord, and what is the Lord doing? And it's like, what's the strategy of heaven? But then what is he training you in?
Yep.
And I knew that I was in this training ground of faith.
Yeah.
Whereas like every step I'm taking is actually I'm taking by faith, but the faith comes by hearing and hearing the word of the Lord. Yeah. And so I knew that it was like, oh, I'm actually just listening to you, and then I'm going to take the next step.
That's it.
And I'm not going to worry about how this thing's going to shake out or what this is going to look like. And, following that, I ended up having some crazy opportunities, I'll say, in which people brought different opportunities before me. Yeah. And it was just like, oh, we're just going to take it step by step in these opportunities, even if I can't see the full picture or how these things shaken out or whatever.
Yeah.
But it does feel like we're all, and maybe it is just for me, but it was like this training of faith of what does it mean to just walk by faith?
Yeah. Well, here's a path I've been on. I don't know at what point I got pulled into doing the transitions at church, where you go up and talk.
Yeah, when I decided to do you. Yeah.
Oh, you put me up there.
Yeah, I put you on there.
This is your fault. I'm not a fan of it, but tough cookie. Yeah, I got you. Anyways, I prayed. This was, I thought, confusion, brain swirls. I thought I was going to be up there last Sunday. I always pray about like, Lord, you got anything for the house, whatever. Well, he gave me something, and it'll be, I guess, next Sunday. Yeah. Probably. I'll probably be talking more than just that, possibly. But in line with this, what? I'm not doing a message.
Oh.
No.
That's too bad.
No.
I really liked your message last time.
I appreciate it. But what you're talking about now, the ancient path, is this, and I've always said, like, when life stuff happens, you're in the swirl of everything, the training ground. The question people tend to ask is, what's the outcome of this going to be? How's it going to pan out? And then I've always said, no, the question should be, like, where's the Lord in it? Yeah. Well, I have a new question that should be asked in every circumstance is, how am I going to look more like him through it?
That's so good.
Or what will I...
How will I look coming out of this?
How will I be more like him? How will this make me more like him?
Dude.
Is the question to ask in every scenario.
I just asked that question of like, well, how am I going to look in this?
Yeah.
But most people are like, how is this going to, like, how are people going to perceive me?
Yeah.
Versus like, how am I going to look like, how am I going to look like him in this? How do I get to radiate his essence in this?
That's the point of it.
It's not even just like, how am I going to look after I get out of it?
Yeah.
It's like, how am I going to look going through this? Yep. Like, how am I going to be shifted? How am I going to be expanded? How am I going to be...
And maybe it's not even a question. Maybe it's like, I will be more like him because of this stuff.
I felt that in the biggest shifts that have happened with me with this past year. I feel like it's been the hottest fire, but also the purest.
Yeah.
I feel like the purest form of me. You know how, like, when you're in a fight, or like when you're in the fire, you can really see what kind of is in you?
Yep. It's when you find out.
I heard the Lord tell me that he was so proud of who I was in the fire.
Cool.
And it was just like, because my heart was to know him in the fire. It was never for anything else. It was to know him in the fire.
Yeah. And
I think that's a key of life. It's like, know him in the fire, know his person, look at his face.
Yeah.
It's not about these outward, these circumstances.
Yeah.
These circumstances just line up as you continue to be formed into his image, because the whole point is about being formed into his image.
That's it.
And it's just, to me, it's beautiful. It's like all the situations we get to show up.
Yeah.
Like even with all your health things and,
Yep.
random fluid flowing out. It's like, oh, how do I get to show up like you in this?
Yeah, we get to be bold and fearless in it.
Mm-hmm.
In all of it.
Sometimes, I know this sounds so weird, but if weird things happen, for example, I don't know, Bexley falling off the deck. We'll give that example.
Yep.
Even though I was like in that place where like the first time, we'll talk about the first time.
Yeah.
I did think, I was like, oh Lord, why are we here? Who am I here for?
Mm-hmm.
Like that was my thought too.
Yeah.
It was like, oh no, I'm actually here. It's not just about, it is about my daughter.
Yep.
And I'm 100% here with my daughter, but I'm also here to hit somebody, to release life, to give hope to.
Mm-hmm. That's something. I want to bring Lewis on here to talk about. This is something we were talking about. Lewis and I have spent a lot of time together the past week. But I've had that whenever the Lord told me to move to Tyler, and Kelsey and I followed through on that. And I got this job and I got my house like the same day. The scripture he gave me in a dream, it was Joel 2:25, restoring what the locusts have eaten and stolen.
Yeah.
Restoring time, that kind of thing. Well, Lewis and I, it's Joel 2:25. Lewis and I have been talking about that, and he has some. I don't want to share it on here yet. Incredible new thing that is a possibility going to happen. But he said, yeah, like, what if that word is like, we can be that for other people?
100.
And I'm like, yes, absolutely. And what's funny,
yes.
What's funny is at the site.org office in the break room, the dishwasher flashes 225 nonstop. And then the other day, this paper fell out of my trash can at home, and it said, enjoy the 225.
What in the world?
It was like a price of something, but it was 220. I got a picture of it. We need to share pictures of all this stuff on all of our episodes. Should. And but anyways, there it is. Enjoy 225 is a Chase Bank thing, but it just fell out of my trash can. And then the parking garage downtown, I was walking up to my car, and there was a building, if you look through, and it just said 225 on it. The restoration of the things that were stolen.
Yeah.
The things, the time that you thought was wasted, or the time that you thought was invaluable, or holding you back, that kind of thing is, nope.
Bro.
Restore those things. And we get to be the conduits of that restoration for other people.
That makes me so excited.
Yeah.
That makes me so excited. I had something similar happen. Oh, I had so many thoughts just go. Does anybody else have that happen to you? Just me? Okay. Two things. So I was driving home last night, and I was in this place where I was just like, something wasn't shaking out the way that I was totally anticipating it to shake out, and a little disappointed by something, and I was processing those emotions with the Lord of just like, okay, today was interesting. Like, okay, what do I do with all this? This wasn't how I thought it was going to go. Blah, blah, blah. So, anyway, so I was just talking with him, and I was like, is all this hope in me? Is this just going to waste? Like, should I really not hope in this thing that I felt like you brought to my table? Yeah. But I'm not seeing it kind of go through yet. Like, I didn't even manufacture this stuff, but you brought this to me, but it doesn't feel this way. And anyways, I looked at the Jeep in front of me, and the license plate said JZV. Oh, wow. Which is Zach's initials, Joseph Zachary Vidal.
That's it, yeah.
And the word and the numbers was, well, I guess I shouldn't totally say this since it's actually somebody's license plate, but there was a number. Okay. I'm just going to say that because I don't want to
protect people.
Yeah, I just don't want to.
I never thought about that, yeah.
I don't want people to Google that or whatever.
Yeah.
But this JZV, I saw it and I was like, oh, remember the covenant. Remember my covenant with him, with God. Yep. Like, that's my husband, but also just the covenant that I have with the Lord. And right. I just got back into that place and I was like, oh, wait, no, I'm covered by you and I don't even have to be disappointed in this. And I released that and whatever. Well, then I was like, there's something about those numbers. It felt real significant to me. So I Googled the Hebrew word for this number.
Okay.
And it literally says increasing faith.
Wow. Yeah.
That, like, the first thing that I clicked on, it was about increasing faith. And it was, when you wholeheartedly believe, you will receive, and you will never stumble along the way. For goodness and mercy will at all times follow you.
Yeah.
The key is believing, and you will have the fruitful desires.
Mm-hmm.
And it was going into this whole thing, and I was just like, oh my gosh. And they said, this is developing the pillar of faith in you by trusting and believing beyond what you can see. Therefore, train yourself not to hold anything against anyone.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
This is a symbolism that alerting you that God is the determiner of your life.
Mm-hmm.
That was what was freaking written about this specific number. I won't get into it because I don't, but I was like, holy crap. It was the very answer of the question in my heart.
Yeah.
Listen, and maybe it was AI listening to me. I don't know, but it satisfied the question in my heart.
Yeah.
But I kind of giggled because I was like, God, you knew exactly what I would do.
Yeah, building that faith.
No wonder you dropped that thing in front of me, because you knew that I would go Google that.
Of course. Yeah.
You knew that that's how I seek things out. And anyways, it was just so beautiful.
It's epic, yeah.
Yeah, because this was a thought that I had. I was like, he always knows how you're going to seek something out.
Yep. Yeah.
And so he's going to give you all the right breadcrumbs.
He will.
So that you continue to seek things out.
Mm-hmm. I got one for somebody. I feel like someone listening to this is going to find 2 quarters on the ground or somewhere, 225. And when you see it, it will be him knocking, saying, I'm restoring what the locusts have stolen, by the way.
I have been carrying around 2 quarters in my pocket.
Oh, have you?
I'm not freaking kidding you, dude. Look, I'm not kidding you.
I didn't know you had those, yeah.
Legit.
Oh, cool. Yep, there they
legit.
are. I have a picture of those. It's funny.
That's freaking hysterical.
Oh, well, that's for you, and I guess whoever else finds the 2 quarters.
Dude, I think it's confirmation for somebody.
Oh, yeah.
I'm giddy over here.
For sure, yeah.
I've literally been carrying around these 2 quarters for the past 2 days.
Yeah.
Because I found them at my feet.
Nice.
And I felt that. I felt like it was a significant.
Well, there you go. Bam.
Holy crap. James and I will have church in here.
The podcast studio. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's it, though.
I'm freaking geeking out over here, dude.
That's cool.
I love when this stuff happens.
I didn't know you had those 2 quarters.
Well, no, I hadn't told anybody except Zach. Zach knew about it.
Oh, good. Okay.
But yeah. No.
Yeah, that's real, though.
And this is how this works.
Yeah, that's it. This is how this works. I like that definition of faith, like, beyond what you can see.
Yeah.
Like, we're comfortable in the beyond what you can see.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
That's what faith is.
Believing beyond what we see.
Yeah. Yep.
Dude, that's what I thought was beautiful too, is like the second part of that is train yourself to not hold anything against anyone.
Yeah.
Because
yeah, for sure.
If you can let everything go and you realize that you are the one bringing restoration in this, you're never against somebody. You're like, oh, I've got something for you. Yeah. Not you took something from me.
Right.
Because most people are against each other if they think something's being taken from them.
I've had that. I've felt that recently. You know, the kind of the anger and frustration well up for multiple different people. But there is a point where whenever I surrender it, it feels like the feeling of like a father to a son or daughter that's done something wrong or messy. I feel that responsibility over people who have wronged me of like, I release you from this. Like, you don't know what you're doing. That's what it feels like. It feels like a responsibility. Even over people who are like older than me or over me even, you know, releasing them, but it's almost like a responsibility that they can't see yet. Maybe one day they'll be able to see like, oh, James took care of me and was like, there was something over me. Even if they don't, doesn't matter. Yeah. We're good guys for the sake of being good guys.
Oh, well, my theory is people will see when they phase to the other side.
Sure. Yeah.
You'll be able to see the timeline. You'll be able to see, we'll be able to see the people that covered us that we didn't even know.
Yeah.
But I think that's the beauty of
I
things.
think it is too. Cool.
I'm still giddy about the whole freaking 2 quarters deal.
2 quarters, yeah. That's cool.
I'm just using that. I think that was legit confirmation.
Yeah.
I think that was, or maybe it was just for me. Who knows?
Could have been both.
I'm selfish, so I'll take it.
Could have been both. Well, hey, if I see 2 quarters, I'll be picking them up. I get those tokens.
Funny.
I got so much trash
Mm-hmm.
that means something to me in like pockets, my
too.
wallet and stuff,
Oh, yeah.
the washers, all that stuff. Pennies.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've got pennies. I've got dimes. I have quarters.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, I have.
It's weird and random stuff.
Oh, that happened to me yesterday. Did I ever share the story about so I had the blue jacket, right?
Uh-huh.
The wasp, the blue.
Yes, the Hornet.
Yeah,
yellow
there we
jacket.
go. The blue hornet. That's what I was thinking. The blue hornet.
Yeah.
And the grasshopper. I
Yep.
share that story here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when we had gone with my family, Zach and I had gone for a walk out because this is like in the middle of absolutely nowhere.
Yeah. Was this Thanksgiving?
It was
Or
it was like in the middle of October.
Oh, okay.
But I had a yellow jacket land on my head
Mm-hmm.
and it wouldn't go away, no matter what I did.
Yeah.
It just sat on my hat and it rode on the very back.
Yeah, like a little buddy or something.
Oh.
A little friend.
For miles.
Yeah.
Or it was like 2 miles is
Yeah.
how far we ended up going.
Cool.
I tried to shake it off. It wasn't going anywhere.
Wouldn't do it, yeah.
Mm-mm. I was like, I feel like this is an angel.
Yeah. I had one the other day. I was talking about something. The situations and stuff, and one of them like was hovering out here,
Uh-huh.
which it's cold outside. I don't
Yeah.
think it's the season for him. He was just hovering around my window right here.
Yeah. Well, so it happened to me yesterday.
Oh, cool.
So after that one had landed on me, I
Mhm.
have not seen another yellow jacket.
Yeah.
Except yesterday, and then hold on, what was it? When did I get that phone call? 2 seconds. I gotta look up I don't want to lie about this. I got a phone call from somebody on. Wow, a lot has happened this week. I think it was last Friday.
Okay.
The next time there was the Blue Hornet again.
Mm-hmm.
The Blue Hornet was at my feet
Yeah.
last Friday, in which a lot of interesting things happened right after I got a phone call. Some very cool opportunities came to me.
Yeah.
Then yesterday, I had meetings after meetings after meetings with people, like literally from 9 a.m. until 8 p.m.
Yeah.
straight. And there was a yellow jacket. I ran outside for like 5 minutes because I saw a friend of mine. I ran outside and there's this yellow jacket that's flying by my head. I mean, they were freaking out and they were like, get away.
Yeah.
But I was just like, I'm not moving. That thing's
Safe
here with
them.
me.
Yeah.
But I felt that the whole thing about like, and I will drive them out little by little,
Yep.
lest they overtake you. But I just feel like there is that expansion that's happening.
Yeah.
Like there is so much growth going down that
There is.
the Lord is really rerouting stuff.
Yeah.
I think a lot without us knowing. But
Oh, yeah. Restoration and justice and all of it. Yeah.
It's fun though.
Be sweet. Yeah.
It's flipping fun though.
Yeah, it is.
I feel very much so like Joshua and Caleb.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, look at all the fruit.
Who can be against us? Yeah.
Yeah. It's like all I see is this abundance thing that's coming.
Yep.
I don't care about the giants because I know that I'm about to come up against some.
Yep. Some giants.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's okay. Doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. It really doesn't.
Even that's going to be food for me.
Yeah.
Training ground or whatever.
It will. Everything is. Yeah.
Yeah. But there's something to leaning in to whatever the Lord is doing
Yeah.
that feels so inspiring.
Yeah.
Feels so much like you're coming alive for whatever he has in front of you. And I was talking to somebody about this the other day, and it's like, if there's no inspiration, how much of that is you holding on to your own thoughts of what things should look like?
Yeah.
Because I feel like the nature of the Lord is inspiration.
Right. It is. Yeah.
He brings inspiration. He brings hope. And it's like, well, maybe your own thoughts and your own limiting beliefs are blocking the inspiration.
Yeah.
Because you're thinking it should be a certain way instead of just holding the posture of openness.
Yeah.
And silence and space and, all right, what do you have? Because I want to align myself to what you have.
Yeah.
But, and even pulling the right people in.
Yeah.
You know, it's almost like, well, what strategic plan? Like, Lord, is there anybody that I am supposed to align with right now?
Yeah.
You know, like how Lewis prayed about you in joining site.org. It's like, there really is something about us praying about who are we supposed to be connected to in this season.
I know it. I was feeling that too. I was going to bring that up too. I feel like, you know how you have seasons and there's certain people in that season and it's like, this is the recipe for that time.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then it's new and there's new people.
Yep.
And when you're first introduced to them, you're like, oh, I don't know what this is going to turn into, but it ends up being a consistent relationship.
Yep. Yeah.
I feel that
for
showing
sure
up now too.
Mm-hmm.
As well. New people.
Mm-hmm.
New people for a new time.
Yeah. You know, that happened to me. It was back in September. I was standing outside. It was at the end of intercession one night. And it was just me and Steve, and we were talking. And I look up, and I see the V of the birds.
Okay, yeah.
And I see them. They were in the middle of a position shift as they were coming over my head. Yeah. You know how they will, like one bird will...
Yeah, they'll reshuffle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, the person who had been leading that thing. It was the front bird moved out of the way and came all the way to the back, and then there was a reshift.
Yeah.
And I felt that. I was like, oh, things are shifting here. Mm-hmm. That was my thought. I was like, oh, there's a recalibration that's happening.
Yep.
But that's happened. Yeah. Like over the last 4 months or whatever. Cool. There has been shiftings. And
you have this new resolve energy too about you. Mm-hmm. Just in the business realm and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. It's inspiring.
It feels
very unstoppable. Cool. And before you got here earlier, Bobby Connor, a little video popped up of one of his little things, you know?
Yeah.
But it was about being bold and fearless. I'd encourage you to go check it out.
Yeah.
But then it's written on my marker board too, which he drew on the marker board. All those little things.
Do you still have that there?
Yeah, it's still on there, yeah. But it says in the corner, like, be bold, be fearless on my marker board.
Did he write that?
He didn't write that. I wrote that. But he said it in this video, and he went into it. I mean, I encourage you to go check it out, but it was like, it felt like coal being shoveled into my steam engine kind of thing, like fire in my stomach. Like, oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Bold and fearless. Like, nothing can stop us. That's what he was saying. He's like, yeah, you're unstoppable. You know how he says it and stuff. But it reignited that. But that's what your business stuff feels like. Like, I'll be the authority in this.
Yeah.
And if you see it, why not step into it? I'll be the leading authority in creativity. I'll be the leading authority in health. Yeah. Or business.
Yeah.
Here.
I will show you how to do kingdom business.
Kingdom business. Yeah. Yeah, I'll show you.
Yeah. I have such a, oh man. Dang, I can't wait for this whole thing to kind of resolve, and I'm really excited to talk about certain things that are happening.
Yep.
Because it's such a freaking God story. I can't go into it right now, but there is so much happening.
Yep.
There's so much shifting. There's so much pivoting that feels like the sons and daughters are becoming unstoppable.
Yeah.
Or
That's building faith.
They already are unstoppable. They're just coming to understand that they are.
Realizing it.
Yeah. They're waking up to that.
Using it, wielding it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's just so much, there's a lot of zeal for me anyways. Just how these things are coming together.
Yeah. Yeah. That fiery zeal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's exciting.
Yeah.
Good. Well, episode 97 complete. Yeah. 3 more.
3 to go.
Guests back to back. 3 or 4.
It's exciting.
3 or 4, possibly 5, I think. It is exciting. Yeah, we're gonna wrap this year up with some of our favorite guests, all from different, spheres. It will be fun.
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to have a special Christmas episode. So if anybody has any Christmas questions, where does what's the origin of the Christmas tree? Or
Can't
what
wait
is,
to get into that.
if anybody has any of those kind of questions, we have we got a place where we can ask them and get some solid answers. Some solid, educated answers.
It's going to be good.
Yeah. Or it may mess up Christmas for you, but either or.
Whatever. We don't know.
There's probably good and bad to it. There's good things and bad things. I mean, St. Nicholas, some pretty cool stories with him.
That's a lot of cool stories about St.
Stories about St. Nicholas. So. If you enjoyed this episode of the Ancient Way podcast, drop us a like, share with your friends, share with your family. And if you'd like to support us and what we are doing, and you would like to play a direct role in our growth and things that we do in the future,
we have a donation spot at the bottom of our show notes. So you can click on that, give however much you want. We appreciate absolutely everything. We appreciate our listeners. And everybody that's already come alongside and encouraged us, and even everybody that's been on our show. So thanks, guys.